I've really started to see my practice through a whakapapa lens. It's my whakapapa relationship with place, with Waiapu, with particularly our whānau land. That's the influence on how that impacts what I photograph and where I photograph. Ko Hikurangi tuku maunga, ko Waiapu tuku awa, ko Ngāti Porou tuku iwi. Ko Pohautia tuku maunga, ko Te Kā tuku awa, ko Pōkai Pohatu tuku whare, tipuna, ko Tikapani Kōpeka tuku marae, ko Natalie Robertson tuku ingoa. I think of myself as a Ngāti Porou photographer and also my Scottish whakapapa clan Dunakai. In recent times I've thought of myself much more as Ngāti Porou rather than Māori. The deeper I get into my relationship with my whānau, Te Whānau Pōkai, with hapu, I really locate myself in that place. I've drawn on mōteatea, I've drawn on Waiapu minute book, land court records, listening to the voices of our tipuna, and through that identified a tairāwhiti lexicon of light, so a way that our tipuna understood and saw light, and that really impacted how I photographed, particularly in the series Tātere Maruana. I was identifying terms for light, like tera te haiata, that then was about the piercing light hitting Hikurangi maunga, in particular drawing on Kura Te Wakataua, which is the Takitimu chant, and seeing that the way of describing light could influence how I went and photographed. It influenced the time of year that I would photograph, it influenced a seasonal photographic maramataka, if you like. It really directed when I needed to be in certain places and how. I referenced specific mōteatea during that period of time. I was looking into them because they told us stories of migration, but they also revealed how vision could be understood. And everything's cyclic. I really think about the Takarangi spiral. Everything comes back to the spiral of time, space, energy. And if I could go back to the way the tipuna were thinking as they're sailing towards the land, seeing light strike Hikurangi at dawn. Imagine the excitement on board the waka, seeing light reveal this new whenua. I was sitting with Auntie Keri one day at her whare at Rangitukia. She revealed really that knowledge comes from place. Through her explanation of Mātauranga iwi, I really started to look for the knowledge comes from the whenua, comes from that relationship between our tipuna and the whenua, and that what I needed to learn was walking the whenua, and it would reveal itself to me. I began with a wide view of the Waiapu River and thinking about how might I assist in photographing and documenting for people 100 years from now to know the state of our river. And I really wanted to understand how we might think about Punawai, freshwater springs, the way that our 2 or 3 generations ago did, and the sacredness of them. This one revealed itself because of the green that you can see coming down amongst the much warmer yellowy grasses in late summer. So really looking for clues and what can the land tell us. Because it's 5x4 film, I don't take many shots. I have to wait until the light seems right, until everything's working the way that I want it to. So my process is very much slow, methodical, and so slow that I might have, in this instance, waited 6 or 7 months before returning to take the photograph. This photograph, which is taken at the base of the Mangarara stream, so the stream's coming in from the Sangor here, the river Wairongamai is flowing this way. This is one of the largest slips in the whole of the country. It's one of the most researched slips in the world. There's so much erosion that when you're up looking at it, you're inside the space where the hills used to be. This is the visual evidence of the scale of that change over time. And I heard about this at least 10 years before I photographed it. And by the time we knew that the sediment and all of this rubble which is coming out of the hills was up to the eaves of the house, we knew it was time to go and photograph it. This body of work really began as a desire to think through how photography can assist with iwi aspirations. It developed its own new knowledge, I guess, that came forth by connecting things like the names of freshwater springs that had been lost to memory. And so to serve our hapu in that way, I see a connecting point between how photography can then actually lead back into real life action in the world. So how might we act? How might we move forward? What I'm aiming to do is to elevate and amplify the voice of the taiao, the voice of the river, and the voice of the species that are at threat here. And how might we bring their voices forward?